to the Yellowjackets Hive, presented by cordcutting.com. I'm Media Melanie here with.
And I'm Emily.
And we're back with our live stream, you guys. We love live streaming, and this is a really good topic for a live stream. Emily, what are we going to be talking about today?
We're going to be talking about the postcards.
And more specifically, who sent them?
Yes, because if you haven't gathered, we don't think it was Jeff.
That is accurate. If you've been reading between the lines or just reading in general, you've probably seen our stance. And, we actually have the postcards ourselves.
I pulled mine too. Mine's on my fridge.
I know. I keep mine handy too. And so, wish you were here. There's some mountains on it. On the back, there's the symbol, pretty close to what was actually on the show. So, we don't think Jeff sent them. So we are going to cover who we think did send them. We're going to go over each character, why we think so, putting our citizen detectives hat on a little bit. And if you've got any strong opinions on this, we hope that you chime in the comments and let us know.
Yes, please do, because there are so many theories out there that I've seen about
Yes, there are. And before we get down to business, just a friendly reminder, hop over to yellowjacketshive.com. That is where we house all of our content on our Cord Cutting Hive Hub page. We've got articles, we've got videos, we've got some TikToks, all kinds of fun stuff. So be sure to check it out. And while you're checking things out, feel free to visit yellowjacketshiveshop.com, where we've got some super cute items. This design is actually available on an apron, which would be perfect for Thanksgiving, amongst many other awesome designs. So,
hey, Drew, see you in the comments.
What up, Drew? Yes. Drew, why don't you drop a comment and tell us who you think sent the postcards? And while you're doing that, we will dive in about what we know about the postcards so far and who received one in season 1. Emily, who was an actual recipient proven to have received a postcard?
We know for sure that Natalie, Taisa, and Misty all received postcards. I am almost 100% positive that Shauna did not receive a postcard because, first of all, if she received a postcard, why when Natalie and Taisa showed her the postcard, it looked like she had never seen it before. If she had received a postcard, why would she react that way? And also, the postcard that Natalie shows her, as you can see in that picture, had been folded in half. There's a crease in the middle of the postcard. And when Shauna is shown looking at the postcard in the episode Saints in her kitchen, the postcard that she's holding has a crease in the center of it, just like the postcard that Natalie has. So I think that when Natalie gave her the postcard in that scene, she pocketed it and she took it.
Yeah, I think that makes sense because I feel like if Shauna had received one in the mail, there would have been some sort of mention of this or a scene confirming that. And that's an astute observation with the crease in the middle. And let's pull up Taisa here with her postcard too. So Taisa also received one, which is fascinating.
And also, if Shauna didn't receive a postcard, if she did receive a postcard, then that means that somebody intercepted it, which obviously the likely culprits would be either Callie or Jeff. But I feel like if Callie did something like that, they would have shown that. They wouldn't hide that and reveal it later.
No, and we do know, of course, that Jeff was the blackmailer, but the blackmail and the postcards to us are two separate things. We did see the symbol in the text message from the unknown blackmailer, but Jeff never confirmed to Shauna that he sent the postcards. It was just never discussed. So that's why we just don't buy it 100%. Someone who's been not trolling us, but gently reminding us that it has been substantiated that Jeff sent the postcards, but we've yet to see an article or a tweet from anybody representing the show. We just tweeted Ashley Lyle and asked her to confirm. No reply. But
and he admits to the blackmail, but he never admits to sending any postcards. That never happens. And nobody can tell me otherwise because you don't see that in the show. You don't hear them say anything about it in the show.
Yes, and to Drew's point too, we know the three individuals who received the cards, Misty, Nat, and Ty, but Jeff only hit up Nat and Ty for money. Why wouldn't he have hit up Misty? Which is a good point because Misty is accessible. She's in the public domain. She's not in rehab like Nat, where someone would have had to do some major detective work to even get the location to send her a postcard.
Yeah, and if you have Misty's address, chances are you have her phone number to send her a text message too.
Yeah, exactly. It's very strange. So we can talk about some possible senders of the postcards. Now, let's start with Misty. Emily, what are some points that you think could indicate Misty is the sender?
Well, we know that Misty really thrived in the wilderness, and that was like what she considers to be the time of her life. So I could see her being the sender as a way to try to get them all back together again, for sure.
Yes, that is definitely possible. And, it's interesting because there was no way to track who sent the postcards. Misty
Exactly.
specifically sent
Yep.
that. And if Misty had sent them, she, of course, would have sent them in a way that weren't trackable, but she seemed to be as surprised as the rest of the group. So, and she directly asked Jessica Roberts about it too. And what did Jessica Roberts tell her?
Jessica Roberts had no idea what she was talking about. So it's obvious that Jessica Roberts didn't send them, or she would have said something. Yeah, I just highlighted this comment by Kole. Hi, Kole. Jeff did not send the postcards. I agree. I also think Shauna may have lied about her postcard. I don't know why. A hunch based on Shauna's personality traits. That's also a possibility that she got one and she lied about it. But why would she lie though?
That's a good question. Sometimes Shauna seems to do things that just don't make sense, and she is a liar.
Yeah,
We've
that's
been
true.
shown, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she's ever really recovered from the wilderness situation, as the others have
No,
not either. So sometimes it's like, who's to know why Shauna is doing what she's doing? She's dealing with trauma still 25 years later. So
true.
who knows? Who
Yeah.
knows? But I don't know. I could maybe picture her lying about it.
I've seen people say that before too.
Yeah. I mean, Shauna could be the big bad of them all and is behind this whole thing, which we'll get to later. That is
Yeah.
something that we will talk about. But back to Misty quickly. Could she have sent them in an attempt to get the gang back together again because she's a lonely person? What do you think about that theory?
I could see some stock being put into that. But
Okay.
another thing about the postcards being sent is I just saw the notes and it says Misty's a great citizen detective, because if Jeff did send the text message or the postcards, how would he have known where Natalie was? The only person that knew where Natalie was in rehab supposedly was Taisa, because Taisa sent her there. Taisa paid for her to go there. So Taisa knew her location. But Shauna obviously didn't know because they hadn't been in contact with each other. But
Nope.
Misty is a good citizen detective. So that would be something that I think Misty would be able to figure out. And is another reason why I think it's possible maybe Misty was the sender. Maybe.
One other thing that makes me think Misty maybe did not send them is, why would she have not sent Shauna a postcard,
Yeah,
but
that's
she
true.
would have called her to tell her about Travis's death? You would think
Yeah.
that maybe she would have done both. It seems like that was genuinely their first contact in so long,
Yeah.
but maybe that was Misty's way of stirring things up a little after she sent the postcards.
Yeah, that
I don't know.
had to be the first time that they spoke, because Shauna said, "I thought I told you never to call me." So, I took that as they hadn't spoken in a very long time.
Yes. Gosh, I would rate, like, if we're doing percentages of chances that Misty sent the postcards, I'd put her about 40%.
40?
40,
Okay.
maybe 40, yeah.
All right.
Under 50%.
Yeah,
I
I
I just
agree.
I don't think it's her. But moving on to Taisa and Jessica Roberts now, we know Ty had this sinister, maybe not sinister, but a plot at hand in order to try to see what the Yellowjackets would say when
Yeah.
approached. It's the 25-year anniversary. She's running for Senate. There's a lot at stake for Ty. So could she have had Jessica Roberts sent the postcards?
That's possible. I mean, I could definitely see it going in that direction, as a way to like kind of flush out any other survivors because as we said, we know 3 of them got the postcards. We know Misty, Ty, and Nat all got postcards. We have no idea if Van or Lottie got postcards because the postcards really were not brought up in season 2 at all. So is it possible that they received postcards too? Because we know Jessica Roberts knew where Van was because she had the location of her shop in that file.
That's right. Why would Van have not received one? Or Lottie for that matter.
Yeah.
Which could maybe put stock in Lottie being the sender. But to your point in the notes, what would Ty have gained from sending the postcards?
Yeah.
Really, I mean, what would she have gained if she already had Jessica Roberts deployed as her kind of little watchdog or whatever?
Yeah. That's why Taisa doesn't really make sense to me. I mean, I've seen people say they think it could be her, but it just doesn't make sense to me.
That's true. The only interesting thing with Ty could be, what if she somehow sent them when she was in a fugue state?
Yes.
The odds seem low, but she did actually go to Jessica Roberts' house, drive to go see Van, kill Biscuit, other quite alarming things in her fugue state. So technically we can't rule it out.
Yeah,
see?
Yep.
What if fugue Ty sent them? Now, percentage-wise, if we're rating Ty and Jessica Roberts for sending them, I would go slightly higher than Misty. I would say like maybe, I don't know, 50%, Emily.
Really?
I don't know. Maybe not 50. Maybe
I
not.
could see it being Jessica Roberts under Ty's orders, like very much so. But Ty sending them in her fugue state would be like crazy.
That would be wild. And you would think they would have paid that off in some way and actually have shown it happening. Like they've paid off some of the other things that have happened in her fugue states. So, Botanical Buddies postcards could have been sent by a surviving member in the adult timeline that we don't know made it home as a teen. You know what? That's coming up in our conversation. So please stay tuned. Do not miss that.
Yeah.
But before we get there, let's talk about Lottie and what would Lottie have gained by sending them? Could she have sent them? Emily, what do you think?
To me, Lottie made the most sense, at least at the end of season 1, given the whole, like, who the fuck is Lottie Matthews question in the finale. But season 2 didn't really make Lottie turn out to be, like, the big bad that we all suspected she would be after, like, directly after the conclusion of season 1. So I don't think that if she did send them, that, like, she had a malicious intent behind sending them. Because Lottie is suffering from trauma, like just like all the other women are. So what would she gain from sending the postcards? But she does have an intentional community in upstate New York that has mountains that look suspiciously like the mountains in the postcard. And it would make sense for her to send them to wish you were here if she was like referring to her community.
Yes, and what if Lottie was trying to get the gang back together again because she's started kind of unraveling, having these hallucinations. So what if she sent them in a way to assemble the Yellowjackets and carry out the hunt that we know ended up happening in season 2?
Exactly.
And along with that, there's been speculation that Adam could possibly have somehow been linked to Lottie's cult as well, right? He has the mountain tattoo on his back, which also looks suspiciously similar to the mountains in on the postcard and that we see in the wilderness. So I personally don't think Adam sent them. I would put that at like a 10% chance. But just given that mountain tie-in, like we're mentioning with the intentional community, slightly sus.
Slightly for sure.
Slightly. And then, of course, we have the option of another survivor who we have not met. And for me, I'm just going to say it. I think Coach Ben is the one that sent the postcards. I just get this feeling like he ended up staying out in the wilderness. He hid in his caves. The rescue happened. Maybe he stayed out there. I mean, fuck, he burned their cabin down, Emily. So
I mean, and to me, like the burning down of the cabin and the way that they showed him gathering the matches and stuff like that, it is that to make us think that he's the next big bad, just like we were supposed to think that Lottie was the big bad going into season 2, because that's the perfect setup to put put him against the girls if he burned down their shelter, because we know he found his own shelter, so he has somewhere to stay warm and stay safe. And they don't know about that.
They don't know about that. And if we're thinking about possibilities for other survivors in the adult timeline, yeah, it's possible. Maybe it could have been Mari if she survived.
Yeah, or
Maybe Akila, Jen, Melissa. I can't see a Jen or Melissa type sending them.
No.
I think they probably die in the wilderness, but I don't know that they would give such a strong storyline to now minor characters.
Yeah. I agree.
But I mean, Akila, she's had more screen time, and Mari too. So what if something happened? We know eventually they divide out into these clans. What if the other clan got really mad at the clan that made it out of the wilderness, and now they're, clanning all together with these postcards? I don't know.
I mean, back to Coach Ben though, hold on a second. Let me read from my notes. Maybe he makes it out alive and no one knows that he's still alive and he's trying to come back into the fold for some reason or another. Like, say he survived the wilderness, okay? Maybe he has a vendetta against the other survivors because of what transpired, and he's coming back and he's like threatening them for some reason or another. Like, that could also be possible if he is the sender. I mean, it would be the ultimate twist for him to not only survive, but to be the sender of the postcards.
I would die. And I think it's a possibility, so it wouldn't be a complete shock, but it would be maybe one of the best twists of the show so far. I mean, right?
I just want Ben to make it out alive, period. Like, not even talking about the postcards. Like, I just want him to survive, period.
Yeah. If we're going for anybody that we'd like to see as a survivor, like Coach Ben is 100% my number one.
Yep.
Love to see him. And we've talked about this before. Would they age Steven Kruger, or would they hire an older actor? I think that they would probably age him. They've done such a great job with prosthetics and whatnot. So
okay, Dustin is saying, much to my chagrin, I don't know if I said that.
Chagrin.
Okay. Close. Ashley Lyle kind of confirmed Jeff sent the postcards. When did Ashley Lyle confirm this?
Yes, because we just tweeted her today and asked, and I doubt that she's replied to our tweet, but we want to see some proof. Like, we've scoured. We've not seen anything in articles. Like, we want to know if we're wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll accept it. I'll accept that Jeff sent the postcards if that's what Ashley Lyle says.
Yeah, show me. You know what? I'm going to hop over to our Twitter really quick and just like double check here that she didn't tweet us back. Okay. Checking Twitter. Oh, it's actually called X. Sorry. I still call it Twitter because I think X is stupid. So
call it Twitter.
I don't know that I'm just going to start calling it X because that's dumb.
No, that's just so weird.
Oh, Emily, Keith said you're looking sharp. It's that nice makeup. You're going to a wedding after. You are looking sharp. That's right. Okay. I don't see any replies from Ashley. So okay. We just want to know. Someone sent us a screen grab that was like, it was confirmed to be part of a foiled blackmail scheme, but it was just this tiny little screen grab and there was no context or place or source or anything. So let's see. What is Kole saying here? I think if they survived and left him behind, that would give Ben so much reason for a vendetta. I can see him too going through PTSD, finding the wilderness again and taunting them. Yeah, I mean, if the girls are suffering from PTSD, imagine what Coach is dealing with. He lost a fucking limb out there, and that is pretty major.
Okay, Dustin said, Ashley Lyle liked a tweet someone else said about Jeff sending the postcard. This was several months ago. Okay, I have heard about that.
I've heard about that too. But liking a tweet is not confirmation, in my opinion.
No,
not in my opinion. She's being coy. I think. Yeah. Remember when she directly replied about all of the fodder with the bonus episode?
Yeah.
We were asking about it, and actually Kole tweeted about it, and she directly said, yes, we are getting a bonus episode. It will be between seasons. So I feel like she would speak to it directly if it was a thing.
And they read like fan theories and speculation all the time. So that could have just been her reading something that a fan said and liking it.
Yeah. Definitely. And to Dustin's point, I hope Jeff didn't do it. I want someone like Mari
Or
or
Allie.
Allie. That would
Okay.
be a twist. Allie. Oh my gosh. Imagine like she wants to be part of this trauma bond. So she's setting up this weird scenario right around the 25th anniversary. Allie was not even a suspect in my mind. If I
No,
had a
me
whole like
either.
murder board with strings, her picture would not even be on there.
No, not at all. So that
Interesting.
would be interesting.
Interesting. And Allison is saying, I feel like Ashley may be cryptic or trying to mislead with the like. And I agree with that.
Agreed.
And Dustin, I hope she's being coy. Same, Dustin, same.
Yeah.
And then back to Allie. Allie likes the attention they get. She
She
sure
most
does.
certainly does.
Never even considered Allie to be a suspect.
No,
Never. Didn't
that would have
even
never crossed my mind.
didn't
Like,
cross
I
my
would have thought
mind.
Callie before Allie.
Yeah. Almost anybody before Allie. That's really astute thinking. That is some really solid citizen detectiving, you guys. I love it.
Yeah. This is why I like live streaming.
Yeah, I love live streams too. They're the best. Sometimes I say silly things or wrong things and I say too many words, but you know what? It's all in good fun.
Exactly.
Yes. Okay, so Akila and Mari haven't had enough plot development to justify being the sender you had in your notes, which I agree with. It wouldn't be as big of a twist if it was
No.
like Coach Ben. I am banking on Coach Ben. If I could put
Unless
$100 on it and bet with somebody, like I would do that.
unless Mari and Akila do get more screen time going forward, which is also possible. I
Definitely,
mean, I
they
could
could do
see
a
that
gradual
happening.
increase. I mean, after season 1, they
Mhm.
did that. Chloe's asking, what do you guys make of the Misty Caligula scene where the postcard is
Oh,
seen?
yeah, I always forget that you can see the postcard. It's when Caligula's singing, and I think he, like, is sitting in front of a mirror, and in the corner of the mirror, you can see the postcard, like, hanging there, if I'm remembering correctly.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, like, I remember it, but I never really put thought into it before.
It would be interesting that she's just keeping it kind of prominently displayed in a way that would pick it up like that. But at the same time, she's probably really excited she got it if she was
Yeah.
not the
Oh,
sender
yeah.
because she's like, yes, you guys, my friends, they're back. We're like, yes,
Absolutely. Yeah.
Misty being Misty.
She almost seemed happy that Natalie was there about the postcard. Like, she was happy
Yeah.
to see Natalie.
Yes, she was happy. She definitely was. Natalie, not quite as happy to see
No.
her, obviously. But now, there is another possible suspect for sending the postcards, and his name starts with a W. His name is
Yep.
Walter, Emily. His name is Walter. And what are some points that we think potentially Walter could be involved with this whole postcard scheme?
Okay. Well, we know Walter knows about the Yellowjackets because he tells Misty that he doesn't care about the fact that she is a Yellowjacket. And he says this to her in that episode, Two Truths and a Lie. And when he tells her two truths and a lie, he tells her three truths. So maybe that was his lie, that he wasn't obsessed with the Yellowjackets and that he knows all about them and that he is a Yellowjackets obsessive,
Ooh.
which would put stock into him possibly sending them. And we know he's also a citizen detective, just like Misty. So, and he was able to track down the credit card information from the vending machine that Natalie stayed at the motel of, that the cult was buying all of the grape Fanta out of. So, if he could find that out, he could easily find out their addresses and send them some postcards from an online app.
Which also proves that Walter was somehow involved during season 1. So he had his hands in the Yellowjackets pot during that time. He wasn't
Yep.
solely introduced in season 2 as a new character, just like new to this whole scenario. He was involved. So
Yep. And some people are convinced that Walter somehow has something to do with Lottie, and he was community. So maybe Lottie and Walter teamed up together.
it's possible he did have that purple coat that he grabbed from his
Yep.
closet before leaving, and he seemed to know where to find the drugs for the hot chocolate pretty easily. Like,
That's
what
so
are
true.
the odds of a guy just walking into some random cult compound and happening to stumble upon, stuff to eventually kill Kevin Tan. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
Walter being related to one of the Yellowjackets that died in the wilderness would be another thing that would just like my brain.
That would be another wild theory. Yes, Drew. And who would he be related to? Tattersall. Like, I mean, if we're looking at the people out there, I mean, I would have to say Melissa if I'm just throwing names out of possible relatives. Melissa.
Yeah. And Allison said, I can definitely see Misty being right about Walter being a Yellowjacket obsessive. And I can too. I could easily see that being something that he would lie about. And like he knew who Misty was, so he obviously like looked into the Yellowjackets in one form or another.
And then we have the references to Moriarty and Sherlock, who of course are nemesis, whatever the plural is of nemesis, each other's nemesis. So that's a possibility. And Dustin, thanks for doing all of your due diligence over there. He once asked ChatGPT what was Walter's purpose on the show, and it responded with, Walter was out there with them, but he was hidden from everyone. So he's the guy like creeping in the trees when we see the strange camera angles and whatnot.
Friend.
Oh, he could be Javi's friend. Or, maybe he was the bear, Emily.
Yeah. Oh, or the bear.
Or he's Cabin Daddy's like great grandchild, and then he's related to Jason Ritter. We're really going off the rails here. We actually have talked about doing a potential episode on the wildest Yellowjackets theory, some of which have been disproved. So we could throw that one in there about Walter. That's pretty funny. And Dustin, this is funny. Kevin Tan violated rule number 1 when visiting a compound. Do not drink the first thing someone
especially a community like that. Especially a community like that where everyone's wearing the same color clothing. Like, no way.
Oh my God. Oh, Walter's Allie's first cousin. Now we're really unwinding. But I like this one.
Yeah,
I think
Melissa
I was just
makes pull that it. One up.
I think I'm almost positive I hear a reporter call her name in the airport scene.
I think I remember you saying that before, Chloe.
Ooh, Allison is saying I heard Melissa's name too after Chloe pointed it out. Ooh, so maybe we need to go back and look at this and make like a TikTok about it, because this is very compelling information.
Have to go back and watch the episode and listen really closely, because I don't think like if you put subtitles on, the name Melissa does not come up.
Yep. Well, fortunately, Chloe took screenshots, so that's great. Oh, and Mari too. Ooh. Wow.
I thought I might have seen Mari, like part of Mari's face, like from like here down.
Yep. I've seen people talking about maybe seeing Mari. And now we know we're going to get more 1998 timeline content. Ashley Lyle or Karen Kusama actually confirmed that. So this would give more credibility to another possible survivor too, not just the fallout of the immediate traumas following their time in the wilderness. Let's go through it frame by frame. Yes. So we now have an investigation to pursue after this episode. But before the investigation starts, Emily, who's the next person on the list of potential senders?
Shauna, which for me is like the longest shot of all.
I'd give like an 8% shot of Shauna having sent the postcards, maybe even like 3.
But like you said earlier, like some people have said maybe Shauna is the big bad of the whole show. So if she is really the big bad of the whole show, that would make sense why she would send postcards and why she wouldn't herself have received a postcard. But
to your point in the notes, what would she have had to gain though? And I think that's the ultimate when pursuing any investigation is the motive, right?
Yeah.
What would her motive have been? She has Misty stored in her phone as do not answer or whatever. She doesn't want to get the gang back together. If we're looking for getting the gang back together motives, then we're looking at more of like a Lottie situation, of course.
Oh yeah.
Or but Shauna or Misty. Yeah. Oh, definitely. But yeah, that just doesn't fit as much for Shauna.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think Callie's a suspect, Allison. I don't think that she was tuned into what was going on enough during season 1 to have pulled something like that off. I think she's too busy like vaping and like spending time with her boyfriend. But
yeah.
I don't know. I don't see her doing that. However, I can see Callie getting more involved with this whole situation moving forward. I think she's going to have
Oh,
a much
yeah.
bigger role in things, especially after Lottie's cryptic comment about,
For sure.
yeah. So
that's what makes me think she's going to have a bigger role. Like, your
Yeah.
daughter, she's so powerful. Like, that's such a creepy thing to say. Like, when you've never met the girl before and that's your first interaction with her, like, that's so weird.
Yes. And, you know, another good point here by Kennedy, if Mari does survive, you would think that she would be in Lottie's cult because she's Lottie's biggest follower other than Van. And that's a good point. It would have been, yeah, I would imagine that she'd be there. There was the potential that Lisa could have been somehow tied into somebody and whatnot, but I think that ship has sailed too. So,
Yeah, for
yeah.
sure. No, I don't think
know.
Lisa is anything other than somebody that was just in Lottie's cult and served as a important part of Natalie's storyline for season 2.
Oh, this is fascinating by Drew. Why did Callie drive into the Pine Barrens where there was no cell service? I think if the discussion didn't go the way Shauna wanted, she was going to kill her own daughter. Ooh, boy, that's aggressive. I don't know. After losing Wilderness Baby, I would like to think that Shauna would not inflict harm upon family members.
I don't think so.
But
I don't think she would. That would be like ice cold.
And Raven Ray is saying she's going to be massive in the seasons to come. And I think a lot of us get that feel for Callie. And we had actually emailed Sarah Desjardins, PR person, again today. She had expressed interest in getting interviewed. So we're hoping that we are able to speak with her. And gosh, she's in some great other shows too. The Night Agent, Impulse. If you haven't watched those,
a good one.
Yeah, check them out. Do not miss. Do not miss. But back to Shauna. I'm not sold that she would have been the one to send them.
No.
I don't think so.
She makes the least sense to me.
We have another category on the notes, Emily, that you so diligently put together for our episodes. Thank you. And this one is someone else ?
Yes.
Who else, Emily? Who else do you think it could possibly be?
Well, I've seen speculation that literally every character under the sun has been the sender of the postcards. I read an article today that said Jeff was the sender. I read an article today that said Lottie was the sender. So there have been just so many different suspects.
And Natalie too, we have on here. Like she's the last person that I would consider 0% chance. Oh, Travis. No, I mean, he's like a hermit living under the name of John Garcia. Nothing to gain. No motive here whatsoever for Travis.
I don't think so either.
None.
And we did have in here Callie, but why? What would she gain from sending them? How would she know who to send to? And why would she leave her mother out?
Yeah, I think Shauna would have definitely received a postcard if her daughter sent them, because there's nothing Callie likes to do more than fuck with her mom.
Randy? No way.
No. And what's funny about that, I love bringing this up, is that when we interviewed Jeff Holman, he didn't even know that he was part of the blackmail with Jeff until Warren Kole actually told him that, which I thought was hilarious. So anyway,
that was really
little
funny.
Side note. But yeah, Randy, no way. Like, no chance.
And Van, I've seen Van too, which I don't know. Like, I mean, I could see Van sending them before I could see Shauna sending them. But
yeah, I don't think Van, I think a 0% chance for her. I don't think she wanted anything to do with any of them after that whole situation. And it's funny because of all the someone else's, we didn't have Allie on the list. And I think it's really funny and smart that someone brought that up in the comments today, because like we said, the best part about a live stream is this brainstorming situation. And that wasn't even something that occurred to us. And even if it's unlikely, it's important to consider all suspects in an investigation, right, Emily?
Allison just said maybe Mrs. Martinez.
Oh my God. I mean, Mrs. Martinez lost a lot out there. She lost her husband. She lost Javi. She eventually lost Travis. Mrs. Martinez. Ooh, and we know that there was some sort of issue or problem or some kind of something going on with the family before
something happening with the Martinez family before they left. Yeah, for sure.
Fascinating. Wouldn't have even thought about Mrs. Martinez. That's a really good one. Are there any other characters that let's see,
Simone.
Who else? Oh yeah, probably not Simone. That would be unlikely. I give her like a 0% chance too.
Yeah, absolutely 0. I don't think she even knew about, like, the existence of some of those people.
No,
Like,
no.
she knows that Taisa went through something traumatic, but we've said this before, like, there's no way they had discussions about what happened to them out there.
No, definitely not. So, if we're just kind of recapping all of the potential suspects, who is at the very top of your list as the postcard sender, Emily?
At the very top of my list, if you would have asked me this after season 1, I would say Lottie. But
Yep.
now I might have to go with Misty.
Misty? You think
Yeah.
Misty? You think Misty? Misty?
Yeah, that or someone else. Or someone else that we haven't met yet, like Coach Ben.
I'm Coach Ben. I am 100% Coach Ben. I as Chloe was saying here, I think the creators were purposely being ambiguous about him sending the postcards, and Ben is at the top, and I could not agree more.
Yes, we have someone that agrees with us about that.
Yes. Oh, and of course now Allison is mentioning that Allie is on the top of her list, which gosh, that would be something. We didn't see Allie at all in season 2, did we? We didn't get
I don't think so.
any Allie content, I don't
No.
think.
Mm-mm.
Gosh, that makes me wanna reach out to the actress and see if maybe she wants to get interviewed.
Ooh,
I don't
that'd
know.
be
I
fun.
mean, not that she could answer if she did send the postcards, which is, again, kind of unlikely, but might be
Yeah.
good to talk to her anyway. She does a great job of playing, an unlikable character too.
Yeah, she does a really good accent as well.
Oh my
Really good
god, we
Aussie
have more Allie people here. Drew is really once this gets out, I'll have to make a little clip or whatever. People are gonna be like, "What are you guys talking about? Allie?" But anything is possible when it comes to Yellowjackets.
I was 100% Jeff, but now we know Coach Ben has motive. Absolutely.
Yep, Coach Ben, Coach Ben. We should be doing like squares on this, like betting squares, but at the same time, this might be something that we actually never get resolution to, which is kind of
Ugh.
sad to think about. So we're going to have to speculate on it forever. But I guess that would rule out some suspects if we get to season 5 and we don't see Coach Ben surviving. Then I think it's safe to say we were wrong, Emily.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that would be safe to say at that point.
But your thing with or actually who was it, Kennedy or Chloe who mentioned it in the comments with the postcard scene with Misty and Caligula? I mean, what if it is Misty? I mean, it's in terms of wanting to get the gang back together, she is a citizen detective. She could be stirring things up. She covered her tracks and made sure that they were untraceable. And she could just be pretending like she tried to trace the origin, kind of like she was pretending when she knew Crystal died and they mounted this fake search party. So we know
Very
Misty
true.
is
Very
capable
true.
of misleading in many different scenarios.
Yeah.
Oof. All right. Well, I think we've really done a great job of diving deep into our citizen detective official investigation into who sent the postcards on Yellowjackets. Wish you were here. Still going with Ben. Emily, Misty's your top pick. And you know what? All you people in the comments are in the alley, Team Alley. And hey, can't rule it out.
We
Oh my
hope
God.
Ben never left the wilderness and is the new cabin daddy sending postcards. Yes, I am all for that.
There would be nothing better than a Coach Ben Alive reveal in season 3. Can you even imagine what will happen? Oh my gosh. And we'd better get Steven Kruger for an interview if that happens. You'd better believe that we'll be
Yes.
trying, that's for sure.
Yeah.
We're trying anyway,
Absolutely.
but that would be next level.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay, we'll just close it down with this. It was Crystal who sent the postcards. I mean, the theory is out there that Crystal could possibly still be alive. I personally don't buy it, but people
No
do think that.
way. She had blood coming out of her mouth when Misty was doing CPR on her. There's no way she's alive.
Yeah, that is typically a good indication of imminent death.
Yeah.
Body or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whew. Well, thank you all for being here in the comments today. This was so much fun. If you ever have a suggestion on topics like this that we can investigate and debate, these are the best ones for us to live stream.
I look forward to these ones so much.
Same. Oh, Drew, thank you. We love keeping these discussions so lively. We love speculating and spilling on everything. Yellowjackets. Crystal was buried in the pet cemetery. Oh,
Okay.
happy holidays to you guys too. Thanksgiving is next week, and
yeah.
we actually just did our Patreon episode of 5 reasons why we're thankful for Yellowjackets. And one of the biggest things that we're thankful for is the fandom. All of you guys, thank you
Yes.
for giving us this opportunity to have a platform to talk about our favorite TV show.
Yes, thank you all so much. We really do appreciate it more than you know.
Yes. All right.
All right, so until we spill again.